Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Children of the Cup. I am your DMG and storyteller, whichever you like to call me, Forgotten Dreams, and I am joined by a lovely cast of people, starting with Shannon. As she goes to unmute herself quickly.
You saw I was eating, screw you. I'm Shannon. I play Cassandra Cephalthino Toko, and I am a Kassid. And I will steal your heart.
Fantastic. All
Literally.
right. Literally and figuratively for some. All right. Next up, we have Mel.
Hi, I'm Mel, and I'm playing G-Meg, who hopefully is just getting out of crypt.
Hopefully. All right. Next up, we have Seth.
Hi, my name's Seth, of Sephoriel, and I will be playing Jala.
Fantastic. Last but not least, Azzy.
So, hi, I'm Asio Arsira, and I'm playing Cecilia of Montfort, which is the Simish, that still has not really come over the fact that her mother has come back.
Also as his niece. All right, fantastic. Well, we had a interesting episode last time, and before we get into the meat potatoes of what happened then, I'd like Seth to go ahead and give us our viewer warning, and then take us into previously on Children of the Cup.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching, this is a vampire story. Vampires are dark creatures of the night. They make very nasty and bad decisions that are not nice to other people. So please hold this against the characters and not against the players. We are merely portraying these vampires. We're not really. At least we hope. Besides that, it is, of course, since it's a vampire story, a bit of a horror story every once in a while. Nasty subjects can sort of rear their ugly heads every once in a while. If it is a thing that you're not comfortable with, feel free to take a break from it, and there's no shame in it. Take good care of yourselves, all that kind of stuff. Besides that, last episode on Children of the Cup, we talked a lot. There's a lot of business going on in town. We can't really rear our own heads without something else turning its head again, towards us, and situations sort of unfolding as they do. And we had a bit of a discussion on which things to actually deal with next, and in what particular order, because there's a lot to deal with. Basically, I do think that Jala sent his ghoul out on a bit of a scouting mission in order to get information on some people that he and Chimag have been tasked to find. But besides that, we figured that it was rather important to first deal with the mausoleum in which Boniface was digging. Because he might be onto something that would have given him access to more information about Children of the Cup, and we didn't really want that to happen. Now, we tasked Chimeg with that, and she sort of squirreled her way, or ratted her way, I should say, into one of the crypts. While the rest of us sort of went on our own business in the night, slightly.
All right, fantastic. And Chimeg, after making your way to the encampment in eagle form and then transforming yourself into a recently seen rat, what were the events that transpired with you?
Yes, well, first she did make her way to the tent that Boniface had been holding up in, and there she found a chest that was, well, she did manage to get it open, and in there was a book which she couldn't read, and also money and a sword. She took everything but a sword, but as she opened the chest, it also shot some kind of dart or needle thing towards her that had Vitae on it, and she did at least she thinks she managed to dodge out of the way from it, that it didn't actually cut her. But yeah, since she couldn't read the book at all, she made her way towards the crypt and managed to squeeze her way into there and reveal that, yes, it was quite some things that Bonafess was, well, getting into. Hopefully it didn't seem like he had gotten access to it yet, because it did seem rather untouched. But in there was 6 coffins with some kind of ashes in them. Also 6 necklaces, who, when she touched a scroll, found out that this was the Vitae of the Children of the Cup, and that they would allow any normal kindred to walk in the daylight. It was also revealed that the reason why they had made these necklaces was because these 6 men and women had hoped for a peace between Children of the Cup and normal kindred. Something that maybe didn't come to fruition with the fact that they are now lying dead. But it seemed like they sealed this away as if someone finds this, maybe peace can still be achieved. And yes, she gathered up those things, and as she did, she also found a sword that, when touched, shone like daylight, and basically burned everything in his wake. It was in the coffin of one of these people that had sealed this away, and as she did touch his ashes, he sort of spoke to her and showed her some images of when he was still alive. And yeah, she gathered up all these things and managed to gather up the sword eventually as well. And then I believe that was where we left off.
Well, there's one little additional detail about heading off that we have sort of missed. You realized, as you had finished packing up to leave, that your bodily functions were working once again. And upon investigation and going through the hole, you began to see the first rays of sunlight. So, that is where we left off, with Chimeg fully awake during the day. And I think it would be only appropriate to pick up with Chimeg as you are making your way, scrabbling out of the crypt in your rat form, a bit of dust trailing off of you from when you shed forms from one to another. There's a cool breeze that is making its way into the little cavern that you are poking your head out of. And there's only 2 guards, it looks like, that are slowly making their way around the encampment.
All right. Are they heading this way or away?
Currently, they are making their way from where Boniface's tent is back towards where their main tent is. So they're sort of passing by.
All right. In that case, I am gonna try to lay low and push myself into some kind of crevice or something and see if they pass by.
Okay, fantastic. Hold on. Go ahead and give me a dexterity stealth +3.
I'm actually gonna willpower this.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I am glad that you willpowered this, as that brings you to 1 success. Yeah, wow. That is amazing. So, with that, you go ahead and get yourself nice and tidied in as the guards begin to pass by. One of them kind of errantly just looks in your direction, doesn't seem to notice you, and they continue along their path as you hear the crunching of soil and rocks underneath their feet.
All right.
Just as you think it's a good time to move, you watch as another individual pops out of one of the tents that was dark last night. This individual is of what looks like Persian descent, probably in their early 20s. No hair whatsoever on their head, not even eyebrows. It looks like they're in very raggedy plain clothes, and they are sort of beginning to put on a turban here in the early light morning. And they just kind of do that usual step out of tent, stretch, yawn a little bit, look roughly in your direction as they sort of scan the horizon, and then yell something out. What languages do you speak?
I speak Egyptian, Latin, and Turkic.
Because you speak Egyptian, you would know that this individual is yelling out in Farsi. So you wouldn't be able to exactly understand it, but they're asking someone to start something about breakfast. And they sort of trail off away from the tent that they walked out of towards the guard's tent.
Right. When it seems like it's clear, I'm gonna try to move up and try to get away from here.
Yeah, absolutely. You go ahead and scuttle your way out of your hidey hole and make your way towards sort of the tallest objects possible to Metal Gear Solid style stealth your way through the rest of the encampment in order to get out without being seen. After a good 20 minutes time, making sure that you aren't spotted by guards and that no one decides to squish on you, you go ahead and you make your way out of the encampment. And I'd say you get about 15 feet out of the encampment before you finally feel safe.
Right.
And then suddenly a falcon swooped down.
Yep.
I'm gonna continue towards the city in rat form and try to get. Are there any like trees or rock formations or anything like that
there
nearby?
are a couple of errant tropical-esque trees that are around here and there. Not really any particularly large ones or any that are in a large group or anything like that. They're very sparse in this particular area close to the Wall of Jerusalem itself. You get more actual real trees further out from the city. This early in the morning, you would hear more so than see a number of individuals making their way up onto the various different barricades and walls up above you. getting their armor on, speaking to one another, laughing, things like that. There would be the sound of several sizzling fires up on the walls, and the smell of various different types of meats, as well as cooked vegetables that begins to like waft down this way. And unfortunately for you, being in the time period that you are in, occasionally you see the droppings of something brown making its way over the side of the walls.
Well, I'm gonna try to head a bit further towards the city and then go for one of those sparse tree areas, and I'm gonna try to dig myself down there for the day.
Okay. I got you. Fantastic.
Thing.
Okay, so you're gonna meld to Earth while in rat form? Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
I can
fantastic.
do that, right?
Yeah, I believe you can do it, yeah. Unless Azzy says no. But
I think so that you can.
yeah. Either way, you go ahead and you make your way over to one of the various different palm trees. It's a decent sized one. While you do see that there's a homeless individual that's like camped out not too far away from it, he is the perfect cover for the prying eyes of individuals who are sort of waking up and making their way down the various different roadways to either go to work or make their way into the city, as you begin to dig down into the earth and meld with earth. And I believe that costs you a point of blood?
Yes.
Okay, your hunger is at 8, correct?
No, my hunger is at 12.
Oh, okay. What's your max?
20.
All right. So you
Or have I missed?
you were definitely hungry, and in that case, I need you to. Oh boy. Make me a temporary willpower check.
Mm-hmm.
3 successes. While the old homeless man is still sleeping and he would be a perfect snack for you, you manage to quell your hunger just long enough to go ahead and get yourself into the earth. All right. Would anybody else like to get anything done before the next night's beginning? Yes, Cassandra.
Yes.
Also, yes.
Okay, all right. Everybody has something they want to do. All right. Cassandra.
She wants to speak to Lagua first, and then her go coffee before calling it for a night. Maybe seeing if she can change rooms. I think she wants a president's suite after feeling those nice bedding.
Okay, very well. So getting your room changed isn't hard at all.
That'll be on the way back.
Yeah, you can just easily, make a hand motion to Fatma, say that you want the royal suite, and he will gladly give the keys to you. Kofi and Lagua, though, a bit more difficult of a task. Kofi, you're not entirely sure where he is, but you know roughly around the area that he should be. He's either going to be checking out the new house, or he's going to be in that tavern you last saw him on, or he's at the tax assessor's office, or he's at the deed office, which is also the sheriff's house.
Okay.
So, how would you go about finding this individual?
She would want to go to Lagua's first.
Okay. In that case, realizing that you have a multi-choice when it comes to hunting him down, you'd much rather take the simpler choice of just going to find her. Now, you know about the area that she's rumored to be in, and she did give you a location. However, you haven't done a lot of city exploring yourself. So I would like you to make for me... We don't have Streetwise in the system, do we? Okay, 1 second.
Don't think so.
So you can either make for me a perception investigation for just walking around and trying to see the various different neighborhoods roughly in that area to see which one is probably where she is. Or you can try and get some information from the hubbub of the streets by either charisma, empathy, or perhaps some, charisma, empathy.
Yeah, she'll ask around.
Okay.
They're both 4 anyway. Charisma, empathy. Come on. I don't want to look. Did it roll? Did it roll?
Not yet. There is 1 success. All right. So with that, it takes you a couple minutes, probably a good 10, of just going around asking people if they have any idea where this area is or where this building is. Talking to a few merchants, a few better-looking stragglers that go by here or there, and eventually you do make your way to the area that she is rumored to be in. And there is a noticeable difference between the community that you just left and the one that you are just entering. The streets are much cleaner. There isn't a visible sign of any homeless around. Also, you would see that most recently a lot of the buildings have had several years of graffiti removed of all different sorts and types. And they're in their place for many of the buildings are instead wonderful, beautiful murals that are in the process of being painted.
Wow, if this is all Aqua, that is astonishing. Surely there's a coincidence. This is, okay, beautiful. Yes, very much seems like that's the right place, going by the rumors.
Absolutely. Go ahead and make me, for this, perception awareness.
Give me 2 seconds. Perception. Awareness.
All right, 1 success. Looking around, it doesn't take long before you spot someone who is clearly out of place. As you are making your way through the streets, sure, you see individuals of Egyptian and Persian and Jewish descent. But it's when you catch an individual sort of leaned up against one of the buildings in this dark cloak with clearly very bright, very beautiful, traditional, you probably place it, for your own mental note, like Sierra Leone area style clothing. That is sort of trying to be hidden underneath a cloak, but not very well. You would see this darker individual sort of just leaned up against one of the walls, talking casually with a passerby and also a merchant at a stall. And around the time that you are entering this area, you would also catch that they give you a glare, sort of look you up and down, and then quickly go back to their conversation.
And she still doesn't see the place that was mentioned that Lagos said she'd be at.
Well, I know that Cassandra reads a million languages, but what languages do you read exactly?
Scrolling through 19 pages of character sheet. Okay, here we go. Greek, French, Egyptian, Italian, Armenian. And of course, this is one of the ones I don't speak. I know already. Yep. I'm used to it. I'm used to having all the useless shit. It's fine. Stop cock teasing me.
Well, as you look around at the various different buildings, reading some of the signs, there's a baked goods here. There's a jewelry shop there. Fine clothing and tailors there. You're not really noticing the exact place until you run across one building. Once again, like many of the buildings around here, immaculately kept. However, this time it does have a complete mural of what looks to be a obelisk overlooking sort of the ocean on a beach. And on this building, you try and look to see where the sign is. However, the sign itself has a scripture that unfortunately you do not read. But
Okay.
it's not long before you can see quite a few individuals that you sort of recognize. You could swear that two of the individuals standing sort of in the open doorway, talking to one another, you saw them at a party somewhere. However, you can't place their names quite yet. It's on the tip of your tongue.
And that group that kind of glared at her, was there anything interesting with the merchant?
The merchant was simply a merchant who sells both, the modern day beauty products and also jewelry for women.
Okay, and the guy in the Sierra Leone kind of like robes that were hidden. Does she know anything about that area that she might be intrigued about?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay. You describe it, so I just want to go into it, but oh no, okay. I don't know if she'd think. I mean, she wants more merchants, but I also don't like taking up time. This scares me. You know this does. I don't know. She'll just go inside.
All right. So as you begin to make your way towards the building itself, you watch as both the individuals quickly give a glance over to you, and then one of them stops and smiles and goes, "Hi, Cassandra, yes?
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. It's been a while. You probably don't remember me. You don't remember me, do you?" And he just gives a laugh.
She will. Does she remember him?
Go ahead and give me a intelligence investigation. Difficulty 5, because you have definitely met this person recently.
I can never find investigation 5. Okay. Oh. For fuck's sake! I hate my life.
Ooh, 0 successes. Unfortunately, yeah, the name is just... It's on the tip of your tongue, but for some reason you just can't remember it. And he goes, it's fine. Ikoska. No, not ringing any bells?
Out of character, I don't have
Yeah,
that.
I know you don't.
Out of character,
I
I don't have that on my notes.
I know you don't. No? It's fine. Don't worry about it. I didn't really talk to you anyways, so... Alright.
We can always change that.
What are you doing in this area?
She kind of looks around. Does she see Lagua anywhere?
Not immediately out here, no.
I'm coming to meet with a friend. Lagua?
Yes, she wants to see the Queen of the Night, huh? Alright. Well, I think she's actually technically expecting you, so come on in. And he leads you into the shop. You can see as he makes his way into the shop, they have quite a few candle lights all over the place, sort of hanging from these small braziers that hang on bronze chains that are connected up to the ceiling. You can see that they have a couple of bronze and copper candelabras that aren't currently in use, that are displayed out on the counter. Off to the right-hand side, just past the doorway, there's this long table that has all these beautiful various different silks of different qualities, of a multitude of different colors. And also you can see behind the counter there are various different, I guess we call it mulched up plants that look to be sort of preserved in hundreds upon hundreds of jars that line the shelves behind the counter.
Right. Was it Acosta, yeah? Is that how you... Acosta, is that right?
Icosco.
Icosco. Yeah, she'll thank him, and so we'll definitely have to have a talk over drinks sometime.
Sure, absolutely. Just give me a second. I have to, let everyone know that you're here. He makes his way just to the very back of this establishment, where you can see that there's a bit of a smaller door. It's a little bit smaller than your average person, probably a good inch shorter than your average person. But he opens it up and looks inside and sort of just makes a quick motion to a couple of people, and you see him wait for a second, and when you finally hear a set of footsteps, he says, "Yeah, we have a guest. Tell the queen her friend is here." No, not that one. The Cass. Yeah? Alright? Cool. He closes the door. He says, "Just give them a moment. They have to, preparations." So, are you coming to the get-together?
Yes. So excited to be invited. You'll be there too?
Sort of in the same capacity I was at the last one, yeah. Now that I remember it, you never actually got to see me in normal form. You only saw me when I pulled the chairs out.
Oh! Thank you for that.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I don't know why he did the chair thing. It was kind of weird, but I was like, "Hey, Mafatso, perhaps we should put out chairs for guests." He's like, "No." Yeah, it was weird.
Quite a showman.
Sure.
Will you look like you, or will you also be...
Unfortunately, for the beginning of the party, I have to take my official roles and duties, so I will be in my, form. And then once the party has actually begun, all the guests have arrived, then I will be able to commingle. Is that the word you use? And you can tell he's trying his best to speak in fluent Egyptian, but it's every once in a while he'll get things wrong here and there.
Yeah, mingle with everyone.
That's the word. All right.
I look forward to mingling with you.
Thank you very much.
Who else? Do you know who else will be coming?
I know that the Duke of what is it called? Bethlehem?
Oh.
Is that how you say it? Bethlehem?
That's correct, yeah.
The Duke of Bethlehem is to arrive. I don't know who that is. I know that you are to come. I am not sure if you will be in your usual capacity with you know who.
No accounting, just a party, though. If anybody needs any help with their books, I'm sure we can talk something. Just maybe get a drink or two for me first.
Cool. So you two are separate this event?
Yeah. Fighting our own guests, yes.
Okay. I believe that also. How you say? It's a very, very difficult word for me. Scourge? No, scourge.
Oh.
Scourge.
Yeah.
Yes, scourge. A woman who has recently arrived in town. She has been personally invited Yes. Also, oh god, this man has difficult name. Vikiel? No, no, I am saying this wrong. Ezekiel. That's the one. He is said to come, but although I am told he will only show up for a short time. And then me, the guys, a couple of the other clans of our kind, the usual people that you met the last time. I don't know beyond that.
I've not been to too many of these parties. Is there any other customs or anything I could know beforehand to prepare?
Well, about the whole, eating habits, so...
Mm-hmm. Catering to all. How generous.
Yes, the catering to all thing. And we will still have it, well, actually, I think Lagwa will want to ask you if we should... I'll let her ask you. Anyways, and I believe there will be formal dance. However, I have suggested perhaps dance competition, but that's still, she's still deciding on that. I think it's a no, though. I think it's a no. Bring a small gift. Naturally, you know that one. Perhaps Mafatso is technically the one who is running the whole thing, so something Mafatso would like. And I mean, I think you know what he likes.
I have some ideas.
Yeah. He made it very plain with the whole, perfect waste of a beautiful beast, but that's my own personal opinion. And as he says that, the door behind him opens and he goes, looks like you're all set. I'll see you at the party. Have a wonderful evening.
And you, thank you very much. Pleasure to see you again.
Yep. And he makes his way to the door. Sort of leans up against it and starts talking with his butt again. You can see that there is a young individual, probably around the ages of 13 or 14. Just turned 13 or 14. Completely bald, has sort of this long flowing, almost toga-like robe, but it's made out of sort of an interweave of silk and cotton. It's kind of odd. So there would be this cotton sort of shoulder piece on one side that sort of keeps it up, which would weave into a strip of silk that sort of runs down the middle of the chest, down the right side of the stomach, and around their right thigh, and then that would go into another strip of cotton, and it would continue like this all the way down until it got to their knees. He would also have what looks to be 4 different varying size gold necklaces of different loop styles. Like, some of the loops are very thin, some of the loops are larger, and depending on what the loop size is depends on where it's sitting on his neck, with the largest one being on the outside. And the largest one has sort of this very intricate 4-pronged star looking symbol on it that just has a single piece of jade that sits in the middle of it. The rest of the necklaces just have precious minerals sort of interweaved into an occasional lock here or there, like every other lock, I should say. A number of bracelets of gold, silver, and bronze adorn their left arm, and sort of the gap where you can see their arm underneath the bracelets, you would see 2 fang marks per bracelet, and there are 6 bracelets on their left arm. On their right arm, you would see a number of these small, itty-bitty bulbous, like scars. And there are hundreds of them that run up the right arm. And in the center of all the scarring, one of the scars has a very, very thin piece of bone going through it. Not human, but some animal's bone going through it. And at the very end of those scars and at the very beginning of those scars, there is literal gold stitching that has been done into their right arm. Almost like an outline of where it begins and where it ends. And as you see this young individual approach you, or I should say, standing behind the door, he simply gives you a quick look over, doesn't say anything, and simply motions for you to follow.
She bows her head with a warm smile and will follow.
Okay. He would make his way out of the doorway, allowing you to finally step within, and what you would see is sort of running parallel with the shop, as if you were going back towards the door that you came through to get into the shop. There is this beautiful long hallway of a deep purple wood. Go ahead and give me oh boy, what would it be to tell what kind of wood this is? Perhaps perception academics? Mayhaps?
Perception academics. Probably not going to be a good roll.
No.
With 1 success, you would know that there is a wood called Purple Heart, and you think perhaps this is that. But you can see these very thin sheets of Purple Heart that run along the walls, and on the floor and the ceiling that lead to another door towards the front again, that you can't see within. But also running along this hallway, you can see there are these very thin silk sheets that are hung up on small little hooks along the hallway. And the sheets are of varying different colors, from vibrant oranges to vibrant reds to very, very light and very, very dark blues. And it just sort of just continues in this pattern until it finally reaches the door. And as he gets you to that door at the end of the hallway, he opens the door, and you immediately get hit with this smell of incense that have been like building up in a room for hours and hours and hours on end, and like different variations of incense. And the room hasn't really gotten a lot of air, if you get what I mean. Mm-hmm. And as he opens up that door, you would just see this sort of darkness that exudes into the rest of the building, and just the faint sight of a small little end table off to the left hand and right hand side of the door that have these small bronze pots that are filled with sort of the sandy soil, and they have 3 incense prongs in each of them that are very lightly burning and are roughly around the bottom half portion of the burning. Other than that, it's just pitch black.
She'll thank this young individual. She'll also ask their name.
As you asked for the name, you would see a smile cross his face. And he would take to his fingers, and he would latch on to the bottom of his jaw and open his mouth to reveal that his tongue has been removed. And what he would do is he would take his left hand, he would take his hand out of his mouth, and he would take his left hand and would point to the bone that is going through one of the small bulbous scars in his right arm. And he would point to a little bit of the golden thread. And he would do this motion that goes like, "Do you understand?"
Does she?
Go ahead and make me intelligence. Maybe intelligence occult?
Sure. Said like bone gold. I generally don't know. Obviously, I don't know. No idea.
One success. Bone gold, gold bone. 2 scar bone gold. You're not sure.
She'll say that. See if she's getting any warmer.
There's sort of just a little bit of a throaty chuckle that comes from him as you try variations of names, and he makes a writing out motion, like he's going to write something, and then he sort of pats his chest a little bit and motions with an open palm for you to head towards the door.
She does so.
As you step in, he gives you another smile before closing the door behind you. And you are left in this darkness with only these 2 nightstands next to you that give off a very low glow. Well, welcome on in, darling. Come on. Come on, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid.
She'll step into the darkness.
Right, yes. I apologize. We are not used to guests who can't see in the dark. And you would notice that there's a creak of what sounds like wood that comes from maybe about 30 feet to your right. And you would slowly see coming into view this very, very dull glow of red. As these 2 very, very dull glows of red sort of make their way through the darkness. Taller than you, clearly. But eventually, sort of like breaking through a barrier of almost mist or fog, you begin to see Lagua's features take shape as her face breaks through the barrier, and you slowly begin to see tiny bits of detail here and there. And as she gets about halfway out of it, she sort of leans heavily on her hip with one arm and says, "Well, it's good to see you."
It's wonderful to see you too. Sure, I don't. Does she look like she would accept a warm welcoming hug or no?
Hard to tell in the dark, but you're more than welcome to make me a perception empathy.
Thank you. Sorry, roll 20 being hella slow. Nope. No idea.
No idea. Unfortunately. Well, it's good to see you. Give me a moment. And she quickly makes her way back into that misty darkness once more. And you would sort of just off in the distance suddenly begin to just make out the light flicker of incense slowly burning. And it sort of gives off that look like someone just blew on it, and it glows red hot for a few seconds. And he watches this hot glowing incense makes its way from one side of the room to the other side of the room. And then eventually gets leaned over something that's far above your head. And a bit of light begins to slowly come into the room as a candle is lit in a small bronze brazier across the room. And she slowly begins to make her way around the room, lighting 6 of these braziers, 2 on each wall.
Thank you. It's stunning here. It'd be a shame for me to miss it, all the details.
Now that you can actually see the room, what you would see is this beautiful black marble floor with these white veins going through it. Sort of that continuation of the purple heartwood that goes around the room. Several of those end tables sort of evenly placed around the room with little incense pots on each of them. A sort of in the center of the room there is a jet black carpet with this beautiful gold trim and gold intricate little emblems and carvings that go into the actual rug itself. And there's just enough light in the room to be able to tell that there are clearly 2 marble pillars that sit next to a small wooden platform, or I shouldn't say small, a wooden platform at the very back of the room, where there's like enough space for a good 6 individuals to stand quietly without being noticed. However, you wouldn't be able to see that far in, as there's not enough light, even with the 6 small braziers lit up, to light up that portion of the room.
Sure.
She sort of makes her way over to you. Now I can take in all those wonderful features.
I'm so glad to see how wonderfully you've made yourself at home. The work that you've done around here, it's astonishing.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank you very much. Most of it is my work, although, and you do hear a... also my work. From the back of the room, in that darkness. And there's the sound of...
have any reaction to that?
She kind of gives an eye roll, and there's the sound of what sounds like, if you've ever heard the sound of, like, very, very thick reeds being pulled together and thwacking someone, there's that sound that comes from the darkness as well. As well as a... God. Sorry. And you hear another familiar voice in the darkness. It's good to see you, darling. How you doing?
What voice? I'm really bad.
I'm really bad at recreating his particular voice. I'm trying to do Mafatso's.
Oh, Mafatso's here! Shit! So I can't ask about the fucking necklace. God damn it, that actually... Okay. Lovely to see, well, lovely to hear you. Just kind of call out.
You hear the tippy taps of sort of these long claws sort of making their way across the marble as slowly his massive bat-like form begins to come into view. And he's got this beautiful purple silk robe covering most of him, but not all of him. And they're quite clearly, you can see like a shotgun style straight down the center of his chest and below. As he sort of makes his way into the light and says, "Hey, how you doing?"
Doing wonderful, thank you. And thank you both for such stunning gifts. And for the invites.
Oh, our pleasure. I have a little business to take care of. So I'll leave you 2 ladies here to discuss amongst yourselves, catch up, do your thing. In the meantime, I've got a couple refugees to take care of, so let me go do that. Jacko, here with me. And Mafazzo sort of does that waddle towards the door as it opens up. And he says, have a lovely evening, before he makes his way out of the room. And from that darkness as well, you sort of hear more than see this similar tippy taps like Mafazzo, but at like a decent gait, as this very thin, very lithe, I should say, individual that almost looks like the skeletal structure of a bat, and less what is Mafazzo, in this very heavy dark cloak, begins making his way towards the door. And as he sort of breaches some of that light, you would see this mix of oranges, browns, and blacks crawling up his skin in sort of this spotted pattern all the way up to his neck, because unfortunately his face is still kept in the shadow as he is walking past. And just as it gets to sort of the center of his neck, you would see it suddenly peels off into this super pale white that forms sort of a V shape in the darkness. And this individual is probably standing at a good 6'6" as he makes his way from the back darkness over towards the door itself, leans down heavily, and you can still see his ears scrape the top of the door frame as he makes his way into the hallway before closing the door behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now that the boys are out, would you care for a snack?
Let me see what she has to do mental maths right now. Give me a second. She would have only been down by 1 point this evening, so would it be seen as rude to reject that offer? Okay, I don't see. It's like, is it rude to accept the offer, or is it kind of seen as that you can't feed for yourself kind of a thing?
What's etiquette?
I do have etiquette. I have at least one. I don't know how many I do have. Give me a sec. I have 2 etiquette.
Okay. Roll me that beautiful, beautiful etiquette with wits. Difficulty 6.
Three successes.
There are quite a few cases where it could be considered rude. And a few where it couldn't be. It really depends on your host and their perceived cultural values. Looking at Lagua, thinking about what you know about them so far, thinking back to the party that you had previously, perhaps at least having a nibble is better than having none at all.
I'm a little peckish, thank you.
I'm sure we can solve that right away. She makes her way towards the darkened spot of this chamber, and she sort of beckons for you to follow her. As you do, you can see more details come into view of this back portion of the chamber. There is, in fact, a decently made wooden platform that houses 3 chairs, much like you would see a throne room. However, you notice immediately, while the chair on the left and the chair on the right are of equal size and clearly made of wood and have sort of this beautiful velvet cushion that goes along the back of the chair and makes its way towards the actual seat itself, the central chair is made entirely of bone. And it is also probably 4 inches larger than the other 2 chairs. There's this beautiful leather cushion that has been built into it, and it is just surrounded by pearly white bone on all sides. Some of the bone towards the backrest part of the chair, though, looks like it is beginning to get like sort of this very faint, dingy tone to it. But it all looks like it's been recently polished as well.
Okay.
Next to that, sort of to the right-hand side of the chair on the right, you would see that there is this small, beautiful stand that is holding a bronze bowl. And she would quickly make her way over to it, run a finger around the lip of the bowl, and then grab onto something. Something that sounds wet and sloppy, and there's a light plop in the bowl as she picks it up. And she would make her way over to you and offers you what you can only assume to be a piece of kidney.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Of course, darling. So, as much as I love having visitors, and as much as I appreciate your company, is there anything that I can do for you? Or is this simply a social visit?
Bit of both. Mainly
Bit of
social
both.
visit.
Bit of both. Hey, I like a bit of both. Purely business can sometimes be boring. So, what do you have for me? And she sort of makes her way into that chair and gets herself nice and comfortable, leans heavily onto her left arm as she sort of just plucks what looks like a probably human tongue out of the bowl and begins chewing through it.
Well, how have you been finding Jerusalem?
The people are interesting. The cultures are diverse. The guards, not so interesting. Sort of brutish, sort of, how you say, dull. Other than that, the merchants are varied and bring a decent modicum of interesting items, although I think that can be improved heavily.
Agreed.
Especially if we can get our hands on perhaps some interesting captains, probably from Sicily, Italiana, maybe even Iberia. That would bring in a verified diversity. Also, getting in some merchants that are from the Silk Road would be perfect. I'm highly missing my diverse collection of spices.
Perhaps something that we can work on together. I too am very interested in adding a bit more diversity to the streets.
I would like that. Other than that, the Canaanites have not bothered us too much. Although we normally do not get along. After all, we have a very diverse history, Canaanites and Libon, but the Canaanites here are either very accepting or so wrapped up in their own shit that they can't even notice the demons lurking beneath. She sort of gives a smile. She rips half the tongue with her teeth and just begins to slurp it down slowly.
So no one's been giving you trouble?
Not really. We did have some hairy friends come by. That was a interesting conversation.
On friendlier terms now?
Very much so. You know, I never knew I could find myself attracted to an individual of the furry persuasion, but there was this Egyptian man, tall as all sin, and all his abs.
Yeah, I think I know who you mean. I think you'd make a very handsome couple.
Mm. There are places I would go with that kind of meat.
Well, maybe find a way to write letters. I don't think they'll be in the city for too long.
A letter might be a good idea. Although I would have to have somewhere to deliver it, though.
Love will find a way.
I like that. Love will find your way. Interesting, interesting. Well, other than that, please tell me. We've gotten over my experiences so far in Jerusalem, but I'm more interested in getting this business part out of the way. Then we can gossip all we want.
Okay. First things first, I guess. This necklace is a very, from the fact, so very stunning gift. Is there any other meanings I should be aware of? I wouldn't want to wear it incorrectly, or...
You're asking if he asked to marry you with that necklace, huh?
Wow, I am so transparent.
No, I get it. It is actually how I had my first husband.
Oh.
Yeah. No, he's not marrying you. That is not his people's custom. No, he will, if he wishes to marry you, he will kill something dangerous and bring it to you. A hunt in your honor. So on and so forth.
Thank you for mentioning that, because I was going to get a present for him, but also as a potentially bigger present from my whole coterie, I was thinking of getting an exotic creature for him. Maybe not that one.
Very bad idea unless your coterie wishes to marry Mufazzo. The best of luck to you. I myself think I could never go there.
Thank you for the heads up. Curious how a wedding between five people would work, but...
And as weddings go within our communities, a bit of blood here, a bit of blood there. I do lots of... Well, I think you get the picture.
But is there any kind of clothing or situations that it would be seen as rude for me to wear this necklace?
Not among our community, no. She sort of takes a left ear and begins nibbling on it.
Thank you. And...
Oh, I apologize, I'm being rude. Are you still hungry?
She's pretty much finished the whole kidney, and even just kind of licks her fingers. I am good. This was very succulent, thank you.
Sorry, go ahead.
What presents would you like? The dress you got was absolutely gorgeous and so comfortable. Can't wait to dance
I'm glad
in
you
it.
enjoy it. If anything, I could use... how do you people say? I've heard of this thing known as an Alchemy Set. It comes with all these beautiful glasses, and it has all these weird things that go through it. But I would love it if perhaps I could get my hand on a set of this, and maybe a few beginner's manuals. Preferably in either Egyptian, Italian, or Greek. Those are the only languages outside of my own that I speak.
I'll see what I can do.
But yeah, like a beginner's manual to alchemy. Mufazzo may have his greenhouse, but I will do the real work.
Only if you keep me up to date on any progress. I'd love to see.
Sure. Yeah. I have no idea how it works, so it might be slow, but I'll let you know.
It'll be fascinating to hear. And how did you clean up this area? From what I've heard, you've transformed it.
Well, money in the right hands, a good artisan here or there, and some persuasion of the local ruffians, of both the violent and non-violent assortment. Tends to go a long way. It has been a bit of a project, but I think I've done well for myself in getting this place to a better modicum standard. I mean, when we got here, there was trash in the streets everywhere, so... Now?
I never saw it before, but...
Barely a rat
everything
goes
I
by
had.
without us knowing.
That is impressive.
I didn't get to see much of your territory when I was down that way. Is there similar efforts underway, or are you still settling in?
Oh, still settling in, but trying.
Should I get you in contact with a property manager? That's how I got this establishment.
Ooh. Already on the way to purchasing some property, but
Oh, good,
wouldn't
good.
hurt to know another.
Kind of throws like the last quarter of the year back into the bowl. And begins like running her tongue across the back of her teeth.
So you're familiar with everybody around these parts? Seems not a rat will go by, pretty much.
I am familiar with a few, yes. I am familiar with the fact that most recently my neighbors have been burned out by Gabriel, Anna Habiba, and Rashid, who I have yet to meet. Or was it Gabriela? I'm not entirely sure.
Do you say bought them out or burned them out?
Burn them out.
Burned.
Oh.
I am aware that not too far from where we sit, the roads can quickly take you to Temple Mount, where you can either go to the council chambers or to see where Jesus was crucified. I ran into Alexis on Temple Mount not too long after we arrived, and he gave me a wonderful warning about never going too close to the Wailing Wall or the Golden Gate. And that is about what I am aware of. Many other mysteries still reside within the city outside of where the rack is. Which I think should be made a better secret. I don't think, any Tom, Dick, or Harry should know that the Armenian quarter is pretty much the Iraq. And also, not fair to the Armenians.
There should be a couple more, at least.
Yes. Perhaps smaller, more of them, Whoever designed this place and its structure for our kind was clearly a sloppy fool who just simply took a paintbrush to the area.
Well, give it time. I've got a feeling at least one more will pop up.
Interesting.
Do you happen to know, and she'll describe the the view she saw in the Ally with the individual in their Sierra Leone style clothing and all that jazz. Does that ring any bells?
Sierra Leone. Yeah, yes. Alpo.
Alpo?
Uh-huh.
What are they like? They give quite a glare from the alley.
Alpo, he sort of shows himself to be, how you say, a bruiser, but he is more of a soft conversationalist.
Okay. Is he one of us, or?
Yes, very much so. Very much so.
He seemed to get along quite well with the merchants. Is that his kind of field too?
Yes, that is his fascination, his home, his desire.
Oh, but not his role in life.
No, very much not.
So he's like a patron to merchants, maybe?
Much like a patron of the arts, he is a patron of merchants. It's very strange, but I have seen weirder.
Might have to see if he's still hanging around when I leave.
Where did you see him?
She'll say the alley that he was by.
By
the makeup.
Well, it is currently, and she'll say the exact time of night. I would say, if I know him well enough, he will be making his way towards the rack.
Okay.
He's one of those individuals where he was not trained very properly when he was brought up. His master sort of did the whole runaway thing. And because of that, he feeds even when unnecessary. Yes, bit of a slob.
Could there be any chance, do you have anything to write on?
Ooh, in this room, no. We do not keep such things in this room. Very dangerous. Very...
Well, could you let him know I'd be very interested in working with him, and to send a letter to the Painted Lady if he'd be interested in potentially building one of the biggest merchant empire.
I will have to teach him how to write, but yes, I can do this.
Oh, just send word then. If he doesn't know how to write to you, that's fine.
Sorry, he is, yes, interesting, but,
I don't mind taking him under his wing.
That's going to be interesting. Either way, though. And I need a question. Are you going to continue gossiping with Lagua until...
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we will gossip for a little bit, but I want enough time to find coffee.
Okay. So you will continue doing that. Meanwhile, in the rest of the city, Ajala and Cecilia, abandoned by your party member Chimeg. No, I'm kidding. Chimeg not with you, and Cassandra off and about. What are the two of you up to?
We are not at the same point, so... You want to start, Diala?
I want to find out what each of you is doing, and then I will decide who to go to.
So me and Cassandra was actually going together until we came to the hideout. That's where we split off when she went to the Restusi. That was
yes.
all back to last session, and I went down the hidden entrance to the hideout. That's where I cut off.
Okay, fantastic. And Ajala was doing...
His own thing. I have a short list of things.
Oh, okay.
He would pick up the custom armor plates that he had made.
Okay, easy enough.
He would also discuss with that particular armorsmith in their own territory to adjust the silver armor to fit more perfectly.
All right, mark off 5 silver from your...
All right, I will do that. And besides that, he will hunt. And
Where would you like to hunt?
If he doesn't feel like he's gonna find easy prey in their own territory, he might actually risk going to the rack.
What is Ajala's ideal of easy prey tonight?
In this case, just anyone who's isolated enough in an alleyway to get knocked over the head.
You can do that in your own territory.
All right.
That's easy enough. You've got enough alcohol flowing, somebody can be found. Or somebody can be pushed into an alleyway.
Yeah, basically he's going to just try and feed 2 from someone who's unlucky enough to run into him.
Sure, make me a strength brawl.
That's gonna be at the rolls.
I really like the progression from only people that are actively doing hard crime to people that do actively some type of crime, people who are probably criminal, people who look shady, people who are just alone.
Yeah,
We are
people who
getting
are
down to
basically unfortunate this evening. Strength brawl. Where's my brawl? There it is. Difficulty 6. Let's roll that one. Ooh, that's a botch.
Ooh, all right.
You lose against the mortal. It's not a botch. It's a failure.
It is a failure. So you go to try and get yourself an individual. You go ahead and you find sort of this interesting individual. It's one of those older gentlemen who's probably homeless, made a few coin, doing an odd job here or there that day. Very, very unkept beard that sort of hangs down to the height of his chest. Wiry muscles, shaggy clothing, screaming at the top of his lungs with a bottle of alcohol that's probably broken, and he doesn't even realize it because he's so drunk. Making his way towards an alleyway, and you attempt to get this individual alone. But unfortunately for you, when you go in to try and take just a few small drops, there's a yell from the painted lady. The individual makes their way out of the painted lady and makes their way in the direction of the alleyway that you're currently standing in next to this individual. As you hear another man's voice go, "What the fuck did you say about my wife?" And the old homeless man that you've followed into this alleyway alone sort of begins to slowly wake up and says, "I said nothing about your... Oh, fuck this, let's go." And he sort of begins to get himself up as this other individual comes into view of the alleyway, stopping you in your tracks because your target no longer alone.
I'm gonna let this play out.
Okay. So, unfortunately for you, over the next 10 minutes, there is the brawl to end all brawls. Several pieces of errant pottery and wood are broken upon heads and on bodies. The fight spills out towards the front of the painted lady into the main street. One man is the individual who came out, who had his wife insulted, unfortunately does get brained by a horse that's walking by. The guards are called, and your homeless target is dragged away screaming in chains.
What's the other guy looking like?
Dead on the floor in the road, currently being tended to by the guards as they're getting ready to drag his body off to the morgue.
I should have intervened. Anyway, dead, damn. That's a bit more than...
He took a hoof right to the head as one of the carts was passing by.
What an absolute waste. Yeah, I'm gonna head on into the rest of the territory and sort of try my luck there.
Okay. So, you break off from this, and having spent quite a while, preparing to feed on this individual, waiting for the fight to play out, and then getting ultimately cucked in the end. Go ahead and roll me another check.
Of what exactly?
So for this, it's going to be perception investigation. I'm going to have you do it at difficulty 6, and this will represent an hour's worth of time looking for an individual to comfortably snack on.
Do I get all specs for this?
I'll allow it.
Nope.
No. First hour goes by.
Tonight.
Nothing. Just you feel as though you are a farmer standing in front of a barren field that has not grown plump with your harvest for years.
Yeah. In that case, I'll go to my room and this, depending on how imminent the sunrise is.
For you, soon.
Yeah, then he'll just go to his room and he'll just try to remember shit from life again and then just go to sleep.
Fantastic.
And try
Cecilia.
to heal up over the course of the night.
Oh, go ahead and spin a willpower, because I believe you're only healing aggravated at this point.
Yes.
Willpower, 5 blood points.
5 blood points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That leaves me at 1/3, or 2/3, sorry, of my full pool.
He's a hungry boy, but this time for real. All right, Cecilia. You split off from Cassandra not too long ago. You've made your way down the bit of a twisting tunnel that heads to your secret doorway. As you reach that doorway, as you sort of pause before it for a second, quickly scanning over the wall, finding the latch that'll let you in. What does Cecilia do?
So she tried to be quiet when she opened it, as it's still pretty late in the night, so if there is people in here, that there should be, I think, they might be asleep. So she would click on the latch to open it and softly move in.
Dexterity stealth. This is a fresh set of hinges, so I'll give you a difficulty 5 instead of a difficulty 6.
All right.
They still have that coat of oil. All right.
Because I'm wounded, I make a lot of noise because that's a fumble.
Also, what's with our rolls tonight? For fuck's sake! The smaller the dice pool. When Chimek had 3 dice, she had 3 successes. But when she had 9 dice, it was also it's oof.
That was only 3 die though, because I have wound penalties.
Oh yeah.
All right. Anyways,
Still,
you quietly go to open the door, and as you go to open it, you actually feel a thud as it gets halfway opened, and you can see that there is an individual whose sort of their legs are like curled back and in front of where the door swings. And they sort of roll over and open up one eye. What languages does Cecilia speak?
She speaks French, Latin, Venetian, and Egyptian.
In Persian, he says something to you. And you can, using the Bates roots of the word, you can guess it's probably sort of a, who are you?
You speak Egyptian, I say in Egyptian.
I do. Why?
Well, I own this place. I tried to get in.
Shit. He slides himself out of the way of the door. There is the wonderful smell as the door opens further of, human refuse, piled up in one corner, luckily in a bucket. The smell of sort of the beginning stages of rot for hay. and also there's like this faint smell of blood that sort of lingers in the air. Not fresh, but probably like a couple hours old.
She looks and squints to her, then she whispers to the person that she hit the leg off. How long have you been in here? As she closes the door.
How long? We stopped walking maybe yesterday sometime.
Sense of time on the ground is shit.
I don't know.
Alright. Well, keep resting. And she would try to walk for. Is this the hallway this person was lying in?
No. So this is once you take the secret entrance tunnel, you go down the hallway. Eventually, you get to that part of your study that you can open with the secret entrance, and their foot was like right there on the doorway when you opened it up.
But the study is the big room.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so it's not a hallway and then a big room, so it's okay.
It's one
so
open space.
One
I
huge
could-
space, yeah.
So I could yeah, but if I wanted to go up to the brewery, do I go through this door?
No. In order to get up through the brewery, you would have to come out this door, go across this area, and there's like this tiny 5-foot hallway that takes you to a set of stairs, a very short set of stairs that leads you to the trap door latch that takes you into the office.
Alright, but you can't get to the brewery without passing this door that I just passed.
You can't get to the brewery without... No, you could get to the brewery trap door without coming by this door, because it's one large open space, but you wouldn't be able to open it without the key.
Oh, I see. I think I visualized it very differently in my head, but okay. Alright. Yeah. Well, I take in the room again. Is it dark?
Currently, yes, it is. It is, for the most part, pitch black. For the most part, there's probably like the flickering, like, you know, that very, very bottom of a candle that's been burning for hours and no one's tended to it, is just like with several layers of like melted wax on the sides, is sitting on a small mahogany desk that has been lovingly placed in one corner.
Alright. Without looking at him on the ground, I look out the room and activates Eye of the Beast to try to take in the room.
Okay. You would look around and you would take in the room, and you would see the great stonework that's been done on the walls. You would see the very faintly, you'd be able to get glimpses of like the several layers that have been coated on and tacked on to the ceiling to make sure that any sound that happens down here does not travel upward. You would see that roughly around... all right. You would see that roughly around each individual there is a large cluster of hay that has been being used as bedding, and there's a single sort of rough cloth blanket, probably like a dingy cotton, it looks like, that is being used as a sheet. There are no pillows. And some of the individuals, the we don't care so much individuals, have been properly placed in chains along one wall. Each individual who has a hay bed also has what looks like this very simple wooden tray that looks like it was filled with food at one point, and someone just hasn't come back to collect the trays yet. And also each of them has what looks like a recently made set of straw sandals that sits at the edge of the hay of their hay beds, just so that their feet are protected at least. After all, the individual that is taking care of them while you aren't around didn't know exactly how well taken care of you wanted them, just that they needed to be taken care of well enough so that they could still fight. Beyond that, there is 2 long tables, both of them covered with this extremely thin layer of bronze for the top of the tables, so that you can have your fun and relatively keep your tables easily cleanable, with a little, elbow grease here and there. Yeah. And one of the tables specifically has had the center of it. There's a bit of a pivot in the center and a very thin hole that goes down into the bottom of the table, where a larger bucket has been placed.
All right. And there is separators. You can separate this into like rooms in this.
They haven't necessarily separated into rooms. More so, one side of the barracks is nice, one side of the barracks is a shithole. And nice is a relative term.
Yeah, I did ask for separators, but those have not come yet.
Those have not come yet, unfortunately.
All right. Just to get back to the door issue, the door that I opened that hit was that the normal door or was that a hidden door?
That is the hidden door.
And there's 2 doors in this room, one hidden and one.
One hidden
normal?
and one normal, yeah.
All right. Okay. Cool. Then it's all right.
And the individual whose leg you hit is already fallen fast asleep. They're already snoring again at this point.
All right. I guess I would. Yeah, if he's already asleep, but he's probably sleeping lighter than someone else. Is there someone closer to sleeping deeper?
Not too far. Maybe like 4 feet away from him is another individual who is like knocked out completely.
I guess I will do the normal thing vampires do. I will actually sneak over there and try to feed from him.
Sure.
And holding his mouth in case he would make sound.
Dex stealth.
Yeah. I will just use a willpower. I don't want this whole room to get weird at the moment. So, do I have any?
Is that with red glowing eyes?
Yeah. I think I would shut them off as I bite in case someone looks over. But I want them on until I do the bite, because otherwise I might not bite
the wrong place. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. So 3 successes.
3 successes. Very easy to do, apparently. As you sort of just fall into a natural grace of carefully taking this person and wrapping your hands around their mouth, biting into their neck, and... Yes?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I take 2 blood.
Uh-huh.
How does he seem to react?
Suddenly having pleasant dreams for a few moments until your fangs retract, and then they return to sort of their normal state, although there is a bit of, light giggling every once in a while in their sleep at this point.
Yeah, I would step away from him then.
Uh-huh.
And I would activate my Eye of the Beast again and walk around, I guess, here. And if I hear sound, I will shut them off. But otherwise, I will just try to inspect that if anyone look wounded or if people are in pain. Basically trying to do a head count / well-being count.
Gotcha. In that case, looking around the room, go ahead and give me... Do we have medicine? Because if so...
I can use craft instead of medicine, I think. We have a medicine knowledge, but I have 0 in that because I could have crafts instead because of fleshcraft.
Witchcraft.
Laughing, by the way, but Meltdown's response to that was amazing.
What?
Witchcraft.
General chat.
Fleshcraft, I said. Or what?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want me to roll that.
Difficulty 6.
Do I have wound penalties?
I'll be nice.
And yeah, well, speciality 6 successes then.
Okay. Fantastic. Looking around, you can see the main core of the group is perfectly healthy. It's just when you get to your spare parts, shall we say, that you start to see a bit more bruising. Some of the individuals clearly have tried to wiggle their way out of the chains that they're in, as some of them have like these thin lines of scabbed over points where the manacles have cut into their wrists. You can see that a couple of them are sweating very heavily, almost feverishly. But it looks like they have at least been fed and watered if the small bowls and cups that are next to them are an indicator. And they are not so lucky in the comfort department when it comes to the latrine, but they do have availability, although a little awkward for them.
All right. I will start. I will go to one of the candles, I guess, that to my desk. Look for more candles.
Okay.
If there is.
There are about 4 more available to you on that desk.
All right.
There's a small tinder box as well.
Is there things set up so you can actually light things on the walls to get the light thing up?
If you wanted to, yeah, there are a couple of wall-mounted braziers.
All right. I guess I would, well, light the candle, shut off my Eye of the Beast, and start, well, spreading light around by setting everything up so I actually can see.
Okay. You go ahead and begin doing that, and the light slowly begins to fill the room, and you can see a couple of individuals sort of like stir when there's the sound of someone going around and lighting things.
Yeah, I'm not sneaking anymore. I'm just walking normally, and like probably want them to wake up, but not want to wake maybe all at the same time. So maybe they will like in stage as I walk around.
You go ahead and get the room lit. No one seems to like wake up, but there are clearly individuals that are awoken and trying to go back to sleep. They're just keeping their eyes closed.
Well, she would go to the middle of the room then, and then she would clap her hands like 3 times, and then stand looking around.
All right. Your drill sergeant walks in at 3 a.m. Gotcha. So...
Yeah.
Hey, 3 a.m. is not that early.
There are quite a few groans and mumbles that sort of peek up all around the entire room. But unfortunately for these individuals, they're kind of used to this sort of thing. So you watch as quite a few of them just... the non-chained, super heavily chained up ones who aren't the spare parts, just sort of begin to drearily open their eyes and sort of roll onto their sides and slowly begin to bring themselves up. Whereas the chained up ones, simply, they can't really do anything other than open their eyes and go, So, You get this
They're having a bad day.
lovely shifting chorus of individuals from like you can tell there's like 3 people who are definitely morning people who are just like up about not complaining. Everyone else is clearly not a morning person, as they're just a cacophony of moans sort of waves its way through the room.
She like looks and meets the gaze of people as she looks around, and until she thinks at least most are woken up, she would say, "All right, everyone who speaks Egyptian, can you raise your arm?"
You hear the sound of a couple of chains move as all the individuals chained up raise their arms, and all the individuals who are the non-spare parts also raise their arms.
All right, so everyone seems to speak it.
Everyone looks to see, at least everyone is saying they speak it.
Core components, and spare parts.
Yeah. I am your new master, but you can call me just my lady. I want you to refer that to me every time I speak to you, and if you want to say something to me, you will start the conversation with my lady. I can be very generous, but I can also be extremely cruel. I am looking for warriors that can help fight in my ongoing struggles. So, the first question I have to all of you in here, is there someone who feels honor-bound to not help me with this task?
No one says anything. Everyone just sort of looks around at each other. And the room stays silent. There is no shifting. Well, there is like the ambient shifting of chain from people like slightly shifting their movements here and there. But there's no like rapid sound of chain moving as someone raises their hand or the sound of anyone piping up.
Right. She looks around and gives it like this almost unpleasant extra 20 seconds as she looks around. Good. That's the main part. I want to find from you 20 at least 10 really strong warriors. And also people that can help with logistics. And she looks over toward the people that are chained in a different part of the room.
In the middle of the chained individuals, the scrawniest one raises his hand immediately. There's like that clear snap of both the arm chains going in the opposite direction slightly as he raises his hand excitedly. Doesn't say anything.
Perfect, a volunteer for the logistics then. What's your name?
His right hand closes. That's the hand he mainly rose. And he said, he kind of thinks about his words very carefully before he says anything, and eventually he goes, "My lady, my name is Aska."
He nods and smiles. Perfect. I will definitely upgrade you to logistics soon enough. She turns to the rest of the others and says, you're 20 here. I would guess that some of you maybe have friends, maybe even in the room here, or at least weapon brothers. I want you to think hard about who you would want to pair up with, as all of you is going to be paired up in groups of 2.
Ooh.
They sort of look around the room to one another. You see a couple of faces that are just like nod to one another within the group of 20, because it's 20 regular and then 10 spare parts, right? Or is it 10-10?
It's 2010.
Okay, 2010. Okay, great. A far better year than 20.
Warriors, you know.
Yeah. All right. So, you would see a couple of them like look over to one another, and so there's some faces that recognize one another, and it kind of with sympathy.
With empathy. Do I have damage wound penalties?
Yeah, it's a mental thing. Nah, you're good.
All right. Where do I have my empathy?
To
There
see
I have
it doesn't have any
And,
empathy.
Wit. Yeah, do I have it?
One
One
success. Like half of them seem to recognize each other. The rest of them just seem to just look around and not recognize anyone familiar or anything like that. So,
All right. I would start then by walking towards, like, from one side, I guess. And I walk up to that person and say, like, do you have someone that you want to be paired up with? And then, yeah, looks out to the room for that one to point or say.
do you start on the left or right side?
Let's say I start on the left side.
Okay, if you start on the left side, that's the side where you came in through the door and you hit the individual on the leg. So you start on that side, and he sort of quickly points over to an individual, and that individual like raises their hands quickly to acknowledge. And you continue along until eventually, as you had predicted, about half of them like immediately have someone. The others have to like pause for a second, look around, and then just pick someone at random who hasn't already been picked.
And then I take the maybe dangerous part, but I will start with releasing one of them and say, follow me. And then just move over to someone I want to switch place with in order to make this change. And see if any one of them tries to attack me or if they're following along.
They do not attack you.
All right. And I pair them up so they have their partner next to themselves.
Mm-hmm. Eventually, after it probably takes you like a good 5 minutes to get everyone organized, everyone settled in, and then quieted down again.
All right. I want you to... Now, I am soon going to leave you again, but when I'm gone, I want you to talk to each other in your pair. Decide what you want from this. Do you want to fight for me? Or do you want something else? Do you want a non-combatant role in this? Or think about how you would want to spend the time. And like I said, I can be very generous to those who choose to help me. And for the rest of you, and looks over to the ones down, I hope that all of you will be good servants in order to make this a good place to be for everyone. As I don't plan to have everyone sitting in chains, but I need to be able to trust people. And all should remember, you have one chance with the trust. If you ever break my trust, there won't be even a chance for a second time. I will be back early tomorrow night. Well, maybe not early, but I will be back tomorrow night and we will start the first steps of training.
A lot of them
Any
look like they want to talk to one another, but are sort of waiting for you to leave the room.
Yeah, any questions?
The room stays silent for a good 2 minutes before the individual who raised his arm for logistics raises his arm again.
Yes. He said ask, right? Yeah.
My lady, can we get perhaps a little bit more water?
I will bring more water tomorrow night. I can leave a message for those who bring water if they have any extra. But water should not be a problem. And she smiles and gives him a wink.
Yeah. Lowers his hands and doesn't say anything else.
All right then. Also, we only speak Egyptian here. So you don't speak any other languages?
Logistics guy goes up again.
Yes. She has a different tone this time when she turns to him.
Perhaps say, my lady, we would like to pass along message that you would not like other to hear. Still Egyptian?
You will be instructed to what other languages I will allow. For now, I don't want you to speak any language that I don't understand. And I bet that some of you probably speak languages I don't understand. Very
Sort of this,
simple.
like, room-wide, like, shrug and nods around everybody.
It's also good training for you that maybe are not as well versed in the language to actually practice it, as I want you to understand my orders. Alright. Well, you can go back to sleep whenever you want. And she will start, I guess, closing off all the lights again before she goes.
Okay. You finish getting all the lights back to dark. Which exit are you going to take?
The normal one,
Okay.
not the hidden one. I do want to see, did they start to like murmur with each other, or are they all standing
Not
quiet?
until you got up that door. The moment you got up the stairs and they heard the door click, which is probably just you like putting it halfway down because they don't realize that it has to click and then latch. You would start to hear like this low, like early morning school cafeteria in like middle or high school. Just this pickup of volume of murmurs.
Yeah. Right. I would then start making my way up the brewery then.
You would see a few workers that are just working a couple of the instrumentations, checking a few things, and looking like they're in the bottling process.
Is our favorite brewery here.
He is not. But you see his assistant not too far away, sort of hunched over in a stool with no back support, filling up one of the bottles. Doesn't seem to care that you came out of the office.
I walk over to the assistant. Can you tell the owner that he should be he should use the water sparingly? Like no, the opposite of sparingly. He should be generous with the water.
Okay. All right. We can do that.
And I need those separators.
Yeah, there was he's out getting them now. Delayed card accident, but you know, he's on his way.
That happens. She looks at him almost a little tiredly. And then she's like, well, I will be back tomorrow. You can tell him that I will be here fairly early on the night. Maybe not at when the sun goes down, but kind of fast afterwards.
Okay.
And
Gives out a
then
bit of a yawn.
And then she would walk out and head towards Alexis.
All right. So, that is where we will take our break. We will be right back with more Children of the Cup. See you soon, folks. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Children of the Cup. All right, bringing us back in. Cecilia, you make your way towards the Jewish quarter and begin making your way to a familiar tea and butchery shop in order to find Alexis. Is there anything you'd like to get done in your time in between making your way from the brewery to getting to Alexis's shop? There's probably about 3 blocks of distance in between. And there are a couple of stalls and things like that, and of course you could deviate to the rack or something like that if you needed to.
I think I would be looking out for some wooden swords, I think.
Okay. You would easily be able to find, so there's a toy shop not too far away that would be able to sell those things. If you're looking for training swords specifically, you'll have to go to a carpenter shop. So if you want to do that, easy enough. You don't go to the toy shop. Instead, you go to a carpenter shop and go ahead and get those things purchased. Do you want to keep them with you, or would you like them wrapped up and packaged and sent somewhere?
Yeah, I think I would just ask them to send it to the brewery for Cecilia.
Okay, fantastic. And Jala had a question? Out of character?
Yeah, aren't you giving them potential stakes?
Look, we
yes.
don't question the will of Cecilia. Cecilia can give them the most dangerous weapon in the game if she wants to. That's her choice.
Yeah.
If they are knowing about Kindred and really try to use them to stake me, yeah, that will be an issue. Normally people don't try to use
No,
the
they
sword
don't know,
to penetrate the
thankfully.
hearts of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am giving them some tools.
All right, fantastic.
Good.
Either way, you go ahead and have those things set up for delivery, and you see he's already getting to work on it by the time you make your way back onto the streets. As you are, it's 6 copper.
All right, thanks.
So let me get some music.
And then I will continue on my way towards Alexis. Or Alexis.
Mm-hmm. 1 second. So, eventually you would find yourself making your way down the last 2 blocks to make it to Alexis's establishment, where you would see a familiar butchery shop. It's currently got 2 customers within, and the butcher is currently working away at what looks to be some pieces of a lamb. But he looks up towards you, sort of gives you a nod, and motions his fingers, his thumb over towards the gilded door.
I move over to the door and give it some knocks.
Mm-hmm. Give it a few knocks, and you would hear from inside, "Come on in."
I open up and walk in.
As you walk in, you would see Alexis sitting down around the small table that takes up most of the room. Small in its height, not in its actual size. He is currently dressed in a purple thwab that runs all the way down to just above his knees and has a beautiful gold trim and inlay. And he is currently smoking away at a hookah with a couple of books down on the table in front of him and a few pieces of parchment that are also on the table that he has clearly been writing in, as there is an ink and quill next to that. Cecilia, I was not expecting you this evening. Please,
I hope I don't
sit.
intrude.
No, not at all, not at all.
She sits down.
So how might I help you?
Well, unfortunately, I may become unannounced because I need something. I heard that you have access to some Athena herbs, specifically, and I would say some of them.
I might have access to such things, yes. Currently not here in the butcher shop or the tea shop, but in a warehouse not too far from here. They could easily be pulled out of said warehouse and delivered to a certain establishment, should you desire, but I would have to ask, what would I get in return?
Do you have anything special you want? Otherwise, I can offer you a minor boon for it.
Dealing in boons is so unnecessary with such minor things. Perhaps instead, if you could get a hold for me, well, while I myself have not had the pleasure of trying these fine-rolled large tobacco things called cigars, I have heard of them recently, making their way in from Iberia. If you could perhaps get me, say, a baker's dozen, a variety of flavors, particularly, so that I might peruse what they have to offer.
I can take a look out for that. That seems fair.
Then the deal is done. I will have it delivered tonight. It probably won't arrive until an hour or so before sunrise, but is there any particular place or person I should have it delivered to? Outside of course, the Painted Lady?
You can deliver it to Cecilia, the Painted Lady. I can be there, receive it.
Very well. I will have that done within the night.
Perfect. I do have one more thing that I was going to ask you. It's about the library. I wish to have information about this faction, and she brings up the painting she did of the Bali symbol.
He'll take a look at it, and he needs to do it's politics. It's politics. Okay, so.
Whoa. I understand why he want to be sent aside.
So that would mean that we are dealing with a Bali?
There is a risk for that, yes. There is a potential risk that we have one or more in the city at the moment. But there's not been any sightings of them, but their potential handiwork has been spotted.
Then more than likely they're ghoul. Bali themselves would have high difficulty going within the walls of Jerusalem.
Sorry, yes, of course. Yeah, they cannot get in here, as I understand it. Maybe that is why they are doing something bad here. They're trying to find entry in some strange way, maybe.
Interesting. Are you looking in particular for perhaps a book regarding the clan itself? Are you looking for a book regarding their powers? Perhaps their family line structure? What are we looking for?
Things that can help me identify them. So I guess powers would be good, to what kind of rituals they might do, what they would probably gather for those rituals.
Accounts of running into these kindred in the open, things like that. So personal journals, okay. I think I can scrounge that up. It'll take me some time. You are more than welcome to surf, as it were, through my library to find the information. Or I can spend perhaps an hour or so gathering everything up and having that delivered with your shipment.
I think your expertise in your library is far above mine, so I would probably just get lost down there. I would probably spend most of my time giving some bones and having a chat with your nice animal.
Lucius does miss you all, I guarantee it. Anything besides that?
I don't think I have so. Has anything happened on your end?
Well, I have a party to be going to. As you can see, I've been gifted with a clothing appropriate. Beyond that, I have a few meetings that I have to get out of the way tonight. And I think I'll be rounding off my night with seeing the prince.
Have you been informed by the prince of what he wants you to do?
Unfortunately, no.
Well, I'm a bit surprised. So, well, you guess you have a surprise then. Maybe I shouldn't spoil it.
I appreciate that. As long as this is not a deadly surprise.
Oh no, it is opposite. At least for me.
Very well. Then I look forward to the surprise.
Well, I will not keep you busy and keep up more of your time. So you seem to be in middle of research.
Yes, is a little bit of a personal project. Getting to know... are you familiar... I apologize. Are you familiar with any individuals of the Liban community?
So, is my character familiar?
Go ahead and make me intelligence occult. Difficulty 8? Yeah, okay. 1 success.
Apparently, I got 1 success.
Yeah, you've run into mentions of them before in your researches back when you were in the manor. And also you vaguely remember maybe Cassandra said something. It's a bit hazy at the moment. But something keeps coming up in your mind that Cassandra would be the one to talk to.
All right. I would answer. Well, very vaguely. I don't have any specific information. I would actually try to speak to Cassandra. She might know.
Yeah, I would suggest that.
Is there anything special that's happening with them?
The party that I am set to go to is hosted by them. Rare occurrence in Jerusalem, indeed. Normally our people do not intermingle very well. But yes, I'm doing a bit of research, learning about them, their various different plans, their different ways that they see our people and our interactions over the years, over the centuries, really.
I think it's the same party I've been invited to as well, so I think I will see you there.
Fantastic.
Well, if you learn about any taboos or anything that you should do with them, I will be glad to take in that information as well.
I will leave notes of advice, should I find any, at the appropriate address.
Thank you. And then she would stand up and give him a slight bow.
He will also stand up and he will go over to the door and open it for you. Have a wonderful evening, Cecilia.
You too, Alexis. And she gives him a warm smile and continues out.
Closes the door behind you.
All right.
The butcher, as you're about to leave, the butcher sort of slides over this brown packaging.
Towards her.
Towards you, yeah.
She walks over. What is this?
I don't know. I've just been told to deliver it to you. So I'm delivering it.
She picks it up. Well,
yeah, it feels like there are several objects within. And it feels that there's more wrapping within. Like several objects all wrapped individually. And they all feel like roughly around the baseball-shaped area.
I don't remember what this is supposed to be. I should probably remember it. Well, I will nod to him and say thank you, and then I would start walking out with the bundle.
Yeah, and the bundle on the top just simply reads, Cass and Friends.
Alright, so Cassandra. That makes sense. I would move towards the Painted Lady, I guess.
Okay. You make your way over to the Painted Lady.
And I guess no one is there. Of the group.
Not that you would see downstairs, unfortunately.
I would then... I don't feel like it's stressful to do this, and I want to wait until a package. So I will go up to my room and pick up my book that I actually got today about Lilith, apparently. And for the first time, I will try to read the book.
Oh boy, make me a temporary willpower save.
Yeah, I will. I will spend the willpower actually also.
Okay.
So I think it will. Well, I've only rolled 2 die. I think it is. Yeah. So 2 successes.
2 successes. Cecilia, you do not find your way to sleep this evening. You do not have an interaction with any other member of your coterie this evening. As you spend the rest of the night and the majority of the daytime frantically writing down notes on pieces of parchment in your room. And it would not be until an hour before sunset that you would snap out of your daze and realize that you have written in a language that you do not understand on about 45 sheets of parchment.
That's so bad. That means I don't get any healing. I guess I would try to sleep the hour that I will get.
Sure. It's not enough to get healing, unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right. Either way, a night goes by, a day goes by, and you all would... Well, actually, real quick, Cass, you wanted to get your conversation with Kofi done. My bad.
Yes, please. But if you want, we could just hash it off out and do it another time if that's better.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. We'll
gifts will be sorted. That's the main thing, and obviously, other talk we'll do at a later date.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I would like everybody to go ahead and mark off a point of blood for the new night.
And my heart's still good.
Give me a medicine check. Perception, medicine, difficulty 6.
Perception. Wait, I'm guessing there's nothing left for her in the tavern before. Ooh, hell yeah! 2 successes. When she woke up, no messages or anything.
That's a good question. What would Cecilia have done with the packaging before heading upstairs?
She would have brought it with her because she was supposed to go down and get the other thing, and yeah, so it's
right.
probably in her room.
Fantastic.
That's true.
All right. So 2 successes. You've probably got another 2 days on these hearts before you're gonna be having some funk, and then it'll be completely unusable in probably 3 to 4 days time.
And there's quite a few left, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
I'll have a nibble. I'll have 1 blood point worth now.
Okay. Fantastic. So, Ajala.
I did try to remember stuff again before heading off to bed.
Correct. For you, Ajala, what you would get is... If you have ever had a dream about sitting in a pool or a lake or the ocean and just drifting, you would get that for hours throughout your dreams. And it would just be like this intense sunbathing on sort of your stomach, your face, and your legs, and then just cool water on all of your back. And for some reason you would feel like something is wrong, but you would be unable to move. And towards the end of the dream, you would see the fin of something dark move through the water.
I don't like the idea of Jaws.
All right. So, Cass, Ajala, Cecilia, you all awaken the Painted Lady. I assume that you all undergo your usual rituals of getting up, getting yourself ready. Even though for some of you, you may not feel it entirely necessary, I assume all of you do give yourself a quick washover for appearances at the very least.
Yeah.
Looks like Cass wanted to say something, but stopped herself.
No, just nodding along. She likes her baths.
Fantastic.
She's that.
You go ahead and get yourselves into. Would everybody get themselves fresh changes or clothes, or is it sort of one of those things where it's just like, I really don't make my clothes that dirty. I want to stick with this.
Just gonna dress up in the silver armor and see if I have a dark cloak left.
Okay, fantastic.
Also, I'm below 2/3 of my pool now.
Mm-hmm. Hungry Hippo strikes again.
Mm-hmm.
Cecilia, new outfit, same you.
Yeah, I'm just put on my dress again and move down.
Okay. Cass.
Yeah, Cassandra will change her clothes.
Fantastic.
Let's just keep the jewelry on.
Sure, absolutely. Over the next several minutes, as the night begins to really thrive, the three of you make your way downstairs and would meet probably either at the bottom of the stairs or at a usual table.
Yeah, I sit down at the usual table. I actually go to the bartender first and say, did the package come for me last night?
Yeah. Got it right here. And he goes ahead and he goes behind the counter. You can see in a similar brown packaging as the one that you received last night, he places a package up onto the table.
I will take it and add it to my other bundle, and then go to the table where the rest are sitting.
Mm-hmm.
Does Cassandra see Rafik?
Currently no. Yeah, currently no. But you do get this smell of like couscous, sausages, shrimp, some sort of wonderful sauce, and like hints of spiked tea coming from the kitchen.
Oh, she'll make it very obvious. Say to like I always forget the barkeep's name. I'm sorry. Fatma. She'll go. Oh, it smells absolutely wonderful tonight. And she'll go and join everyone at the table.
Yeah, it smells lovely. I have a package for you, I think. And she slides over the bundle with that says to Cass and friends.
Ooh.
I got it at
all of us.
At the butcher shop there.
What?
I don't know. He said it was for us. So, well, he gave it to me and said that it was just to deliver. He didn't even know what it was. But the note seems to indicate it's something for you.
Lex has handed this to you?
No, not personally, but he has this place at the butcher shop, and that person handed it to me.
Do you know their name? The butcher? When Ajala and I went, yeah.
I believe you guys were told the name of the butcher once, and ever since there, he's been like, if you don't remember my name, I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm nobody important.
I would be like, he was, I don't remember, sorry. I think he introduced himself a couple of weeks ago.
He just doesn't like me then. When I went with Ajala, he wouldn't even tell me his name. Wow, since this is for all of us, should we all grab a corner? Or do you think we should open this here? I don't know what this is.
Oh, you don't know what it is either?
No, unless it's... I'm not expecting anything. Apart
Maybe
from...
Maybe take a peek then, so only you can see to start with.
Okay, she'll do that.
Okay. So you go ahead and peek at the box. Inside, you would see that there are 3 packaged, round-shaped, slightly bloodied objects. There is also, they're all individually packaged. There is also a package that looks like it has a bit of script on it that you can't really make out because you're only seeing it peeking under it. That looks sort of like the packaging that you would put on clothing if you just wanted to deliver clothing to someone and keep it relatively safe. And there is packaging on what is quite obviously a wineskin. And then there is packaging on what looks like a very, very thin... It's just a very, very thin piece of parchment that has something that, like, deforms the packaging just a little bit, and it's more than likely it's like the size of a necklace case.
She kind of, because of the bloodied, she's gonna kind of, okay, upstairs.
All right then.
Fatma, if G-Mac comes in, we're upstairs, okay?
All right, very well. Should I send up the couscous gumbo?
I think
Yes.
I'm gonna need something more substantial than that tonight, unfortunately. But yeah,
Okay.
I guess it could
Should
help.
I send up the couscous gumbo extra?
Do we have anyone that is gonna be able to resist the effects of that? Like, as in, I do think that when it comes to the guys downstairs, they've had enough of that for the time being. They need some time.
I mean, if you give me like 15 minutes, I can send a coin purse to the slaughter docks and have one of them come over to be your server.
Sounds like an idea. Tell them to make sure it's not the same one as last time. Not that I don't like him, but
I am unaware of who you had last time, so...
right, tell him it's for a Jala that he wants to try variety.
This I can do. Don't worry about the cost, I got it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll start following upstairs.
So the rest of you, gathering in, are you going to go to just a random room, or are you going to the royal suite? What's the idea?
Sweet.
My royal suite. Royal suite.
All
My
right,
new room.
fantastic.
So she would have obviously sorted out, because it has a window, doesn't it? She would have done something to block
Correct.
it during the day.
All right, fantastic.
But now it's
So-
night, it's down.
You go ahead and open up the packaging. Now that you have full view, clearly there are 3 hearts that are carefully packaged. There is the thing that looks like it might be a set of clothing is addressed to Chimag.
Okay.
The thing that looks like it might be holding a necklace within is addressed to Ajala. And then you would also see that there is this small black case. That is in the far back of the packaging with this very, very, very delicately placed in gold wiring. And it's probably like the size of if you've ever seen those really thin metal cases that people used to hold cigarettes in, that has like the clips for the cigarettes. It's about that size. And the little bit of packaging that's on that would say
She'll like lend them all out. Is there any other note? Does she recognize the handwriting? Is there anything? Just
It is Alexis's handwriting.
Okay.
Right. What is this? She will inspect the thing that says Cecilia on it, I guess.
Like I said, it is a little case. It is it is actually wooden. It is not metal. And it has like this very, very tiny little intricate lock, and it comes with a little key, a little brass key.
I guess I would use the little key in the little lock and try to open it.
Okay, you open it, and much like the inside of those cigarette holders, you would see a similar inside, but instead of rolled cigarettes, it would be a line of 6 test tubes on each side.
What color?
Excellent glasswork. They would all be clear.
They're empty.
They are empty, they are clear, they all have stoppers that are reusable.
I look. I guess it can be useful. She doesn't close it.
I'm not sure. Listen, Alexis is giving us gifts as well. I thought this was Bartholomew's thing.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't even know what prompted him to give me this.
How did you know about my heart thing, Cecilia?
I haven't told him.
Me
I haven't
neither.
told anyone.
I know you said that he has a friend watching, but my room until this room had no window. That's creepy. But
Well, he does
she'll
have.
still pack up the hearts.
I mean, he. If an insect can get in, technically he can be there listening.
If
Yeah.
an insect, what sort of?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It's creepier than it sounds, even. So.
It's creepier than it sounds. It already sounds creepy.
You kind of lost me. Anyway, I'm gonna check the package that is addressed to Ajala.
Oh yeah, Ajala, you would open it and you would see that there is this intricate, like, beautiful silk clothing set. It is.
Emails?
Yeah, that is Q-Max. My bad. Yours is the necklace. The necklace is a set of shark teeth, and there is at the end on each side this small little miniature, like, dagger for like a child's toy. And on the surface of the shark teeth is Ajala spelled out.
This is the oldest deja vu.
Why?
Just last night, I dreamt about floating in water and a shark approaching. Well,
Can Alexis's insects see through dreams too?
I really hope not. Then it takes even to a new level of creepiness.
can we... What's with the insect talk?
He has some form of scout that can use insects if he wants to find out things.
So you were... Oh, it's not a joke, it's like he's...
Yeah, he's using insects.
Oh, like the rat thing.
Yeah, like the rat thing, but with insects and a lot. The creepy part is where they are when they're not out scouting. Yes, good.
I'll not even ask.
It's too late. You already hear the words pass from Cecilia's lips as she says he has a ghoul transporting them. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll try to move focus back to the necklace. Does it seem like a child made it?
No, it's well made. It's got a decent bit of thread that's fully blacked out. So it's like this black necklace with the shark teeth and the two small little miniature daggers. And the carving on the shark teeth is like lightly filled with either, you're not sure if it's iron or silver.
I guess this might have to do with my past. I should ask Alexis, apparently. He knows more about me than I do.
Yeah, it might be a power move to say that he knows more than we think or something like that.
It certainly feels like.
Between all the wrapping paper, there's not like a little note or a little letter, nothing else. Okay.
Other than the package for Chimeg, who at this point in the evening, you would just be getting into the door of the Painted Lady if you made your way straight there and did nothing else.
Yeah, she would have.
Okay.
Is she still in rat form?
No.
No, if she was still in rat form, it would take longer. So, Fatma will sort of give you a look over and say, "Oh, Chimeg, they're upstairs, royal suite, far back."
Thanks. And she'll just beeline it.
Rafiq's in the kitchen. Okay.
But
Just quick steps up the stairs, and then you guys would hear footsteps approaching the room. And
recognizable footsteps.
Recognizable foot. I think Chimeg might have a recognizable gait at this point to her footsteps.
Yeah, open the door.
The door seamlessly swings open as you step within, Chimeg.
She just steps right in and closes the door behind her.
You move with purpose.
Right, welcome back.
Thanks.
How'd it go? You alright?
Yeah, I'm fine. It was a lot of things. It was... yeah.
Is it
I'm
well
glad.
guarded?
No, it wasn't really well guarded at all, actually.
That's great.
So I made myself in, and real lucky that Bonafess didn't get to it yet.
Oh.
I didn't realize you used a longsword.
I don't. Sword is the weirdest part, but no, I'm not even sure it is. I don't know what the weirdest part is. Well, the beginning is, and she'll take out the book. This one, I can't read it, but I think it's in Babylonian.
Huh.
Well, I don't read Babylonian
I'm not
either.
even sure why I know that.
Wait, if Babylonian, why can't we read it? As in, or you, as in, isn't our whole Children of the Cup thing Tower of Babel related?
I mean,
I have
we
no idea.
understand each other, it's not really the same. Let's be able to read everything. But maybe that's why you recognize it? Something inert in you?
Maybe. And speaking of being able to know things without knowing them, and she'll take out the scroll. This one, when I touched it, I could read it.
Alright, what does it say?
From your visual perspectives, it straight up has more Babylonian text on the front of it.
Can you still read it now?
Chimeg can still read it, yeah.
We can't, so can you translate?
I grabbed the book and sort of start comparing the lettering and everything.
Pretty similar.
So that scroll translates itself to us, but the book doesn't. It's a different
When I
language.
touched it. But the book didn't.
Can
I'll
I?
hand over the scroll.
I'll take the scroll.
Alright. You take the scroll, nothing happens.
You see?
No, might have been a one-time thing, or it's just not working for me. Cecilia?
She takes it, looks at
You
it.
take the scroll, nothing happens.
I hand it over to Cassandra and shake my head.
Cassandra, you take the scroll. Still in Babylonian, nothing happens.
Well, I think it. No. And she'll just hand it on over to Chumik.
I should
So,
have tried to
one-time
read it
thing.
in the crypt.
Yeah.
Alright, what does
Maybe.
it say?
Well, apparently, well, she will just read it word by word, actually.
Okay. So you read it word for word. And to give you the general rundown of it, it is essentially welcoming any who come into the crypt, and saying that while the individuals within the crypt are not able to help you in any fashion, they do have gifts. And Meg would remember that it has something to do with being able to see the sun again, and the vials of blood on the necklaces.
Yeah. It says so in the text, I guess, so.
Chimeg was reading it word for word, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, in that case, yes, it says in the text, yeah. For those who wear the necklaces, they gain the power to once again greet the sun.
Oh.
There's 6 of them.
And you have the necklaces?
She'll take out one of them.
That is... Yeah, that's very good you got to it before. Did you leave the crypt undisturbed? Otherwise?
There was more, but I tried to restore it to as it was.
Alright.
As much as I could, at least.
I guess it will be noticeable with the dust and so on that someone has been there recently.
Yeah. Yeah. There
Where did you find the sword then?
in one of the coffins.
Should we bring those files, those necklaces to Bartholomew? Like, it seems dangerous if these come into the possession of any of the other K-Knights in town.
Yeah, I don't think you know what's the best course.
And the
Maybe
sword
we
is
should hide them
fucked up as
somewhere,
well.
that we can get access to them if we need them.
Sorry, Chimeg?
Huh?
What did you say?
The sword is also fucked up.
What do you mean fucked up?
Whenever you reach for it, it's like the burning daylight, but much worse. It sets fire to things.
Quick
Like
question, do I remember that sword of the werewolf glowing as well?
The sword of the werewolf was glowing, but not like the
How
sun.
did it feel when it pierced through my flesh?
Like burning.
Sounds slightly familiar.
That's very useful if you have a weapon that does that.
Yeah, but
It's highly recognizable though, so I'm not sure how useful it is for normal use.
yeah.
Steel for humans, silver for monsters?
Yeah, and also there was when I reached for the sword, the one that was buried in the coffin. I think he spoke to me and then he showed me things.
Was it like a corpse or what was? How did
No, ashes.
So the
I just-
ashes spoke to you?
I think so. His name was Jasper, I think. Jasper Simokata, which I think.
Simokata, like Alexis
Yeah.
Simokata.
Yeah.
His name seems to come up a lot.
And there was, in the crypt, there was 3 women and 3 men. At least that was on the actual coffins.
What did he say to you?
When
He just... Well, he said that... Well, I sort of apologized for disturbing them, and he said it was fine. And that someone would eventually get their way there. And he showed me a room with these 3 women and men sitting around it, laughing, and yeah. It was the symbol of the Children of the Cup in the room.
Right, so it confirms that they are them, but that's, I think, the necklaces and the text confirmed as well, I guess.
well, at least the necklaces are here now.
Yeah.
When you say the sword glows, is it in the scabbard right now?
Mm-hmm.
Could you show us?
Not in here.
Yeah,
Don't
no, I'm not even sure if... No.
Oh.
I can show you, but not here.
You can go down the cellar or something so the light doesn't shine through anything.
Yeah.
Keeping in mind that you have a bunch of prisoners in the cellar right now.
Yeah, in this particular cellar, yes. But there might be another cellar or maybe even,
More than just that one.
Sure.
what is it called? We have our hideout.
Oh, that's true.
Alright, and where did you find the scroll and the journal? Was there
The
also in
journal-
one of the...
No, the journal, I think, is a journal that Boniface had been keeping. I found it in his tent.
I think that translated without having Alexis on, or sorry, without having Boniface on our trail would be difficult. I think we should bring the necklaces and the books to Bartholomew.
How many necklaces are there again?
6.
I don't think we should bring... This is it. He can maybe track the book. Or pay someone to track it.
That is a more dangerous thing. The necklaces
Yeah.
then.
Speaking of that as well, she'll kind of take out the bundle she had with the needle thing.
Ah, yes.
I realize now it was probably a stupid idea of bringing this.
What is that?
What is that?
What you guys would see is a piece of cloth that she has used to carefully wrap up a thin needle, which is covered in this dried vitae.
Is that
Do I
thing-
realize it might be for tracking magic?
Go ahead and make me a perception occult difficulty 4.
Perception occult. Oop. Difficulty 4. This is without all specs, I'm thinking.
Correct.
Perception occult difficulty 4. Here we go.
8 successes. So this is more than likely for tracking, but also on an emergency case. Judging by the coloration, could also be used to kill someone from a distance.
So, would you say that rituals applies to this?
Sure, so that does bring your... Yeah.
Yeah. Do I think this is basically Dagon's call on the... Oh. Remember when I had Fatma feed wine with my blood in it to the Bishop of Durham?
Yeah.
So I could kill him from a distance? This has the same intent.
Did it hurt you?
No, I don't think so.
It could also be used for tracking, so we really should get rid of it.
It got
Alright.
cut caught in my clothes over here, and she will kind of show Cecilia where it like aimed for.
I will check if there is any damage to her skin there.
No visible damage whatsoever. And even if there had been, Cecilia, you're well versed in enough vampire knowledge to know that it would have long since healed, just naturally on its own, if there was.
Yeah, but I was looking if there was something like aggravated or something in it.
Does not appear so.
Oh, that is indeed something that you might want to keep in mind if you ever get offered Assamite blood.
But he's not an Assamite, is he?
No, but this trick, I recognize
be.
it.
I mean, he is claiming to not be it, but who knows?
There's also a possibility. But if this is his Vitae and this is a trick he knows, then he has at least either tasted that blood or trained with us. Well.
But can he track this one, or is it just
The Vitae on that, it's trackable.
So it doesn't even have to be in someone, it can just be out and about.
No, he can
Okay,
track
can we get this out of my room, please?
Oh, he's probably not looking for it yet, but yeah, we should get it out. Did you find anything else in his study?
sword? But I didn't take it. Seemed like
Okay.
it was silver sword, right?
It was a silver sword, yeah.
And she will kind of describe because it was ornate, right?
It was an ornate silver sword. It was a short sword, to be exact, with an ornate engraving down the middle on both sides that said the Blade of Conquest.
But I left that.
That is probably not good that you left it. Now
Why?
he will know it was not a thief that went in and stole his things. A thief would
I
definitely
highly
take it
doubt a
before.
thief would have taken that. It would have been impossible to get rid of
But
without
you
it
wait
being
and
known.
you melt it and sell the silver, in worst case. Or just transport it away from Jerusalem and sell it somewhere else. A thief would take the sword.
Kind of felt like it might be one of those things he would track anyone down for.
Sure, but the thief wouldn't know about his, well, extremely good abilities of tracking.
With the tracking, can you only see its current relocation, or can you figure out where it was before?
Do I know how this works? I'm gonna consider this as a bloodstone, probably.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, if I realize as much as in he would be able to locate the direction and roughly feel the distance, if it is he himself who is tracking it.
Sure, so you wouldn't be able to figure where it has been, only where you are looking for it at the moment.
If it works as I think it does, then only where it is right now.
Okay.
Alright. That is good.
Glad
So
you
we
made
should
it
get rid of that
backwards,
pin.
You should. But
Here is
Well-
the more stupid question of the evening, but would it be a possibility to return there with the pin and pick up the sword?
Cool.
If we see a safe option of doing that, and that might be the smartest move right now, since he's not back in town yet,
Yeah,
as
leaving
far as we know.
If they haven't noticed, did you close the? Where did you get it? Was it like in a chest or in a hidden
In the
container?
chest. Yeah, in the
Did you close
chest.
the chest?
Yeah. The block is broken though, but it shouldn't be obvious from afar, maybe.
Okay, if they haven't noticed yet, that can be a good idea to go there, place this pin somewhere on the floor there, and take the sword, make it look like a robbery. Maybe take something else valuable in the room if you see it.
Wasn't much valuable in the room.
Alright, that's good at least. So just the sword
Oh,
down.
it wasn't, right? I think it was kind of sparse.
There was. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
pretty sparse. I mean, there was a decent bed. There was a nice table. Some fine quality maps, but
And
other than that, all the good
didn't
stuff
you
was in the
take
chest.
2 coin purses as well?
Sorry?
Didn't she take the coin purses that were in her chest as well, right?
Did you mention that
why
just now? You haven't mentioned it, right?
No, she hasn't.
What I suggest, if you get the sword here back to Jerusalem, is perhaps in the cave, toss it in the water. Nobody's gonna think of looking down there.
I don't want to. If he can track it, I don't want it in the cave.
Yeah, you should like find a dig site to dig it down, like for safekeeping. You can stash things away from sight before you fence it,
Alright.
so you can find it
Right.
stashed there, maybe outside of Jerusalem somewhere. But you
I
will
need
track the
blood.
book as well. What should we do with the book? Should we burn it or?
Actually, and she's gonna take it up, and she's gonna try to read it out loud as best as she can.
Interesting. That is a good question.
Didn't we test this before? I'm pretty sure we tested.
Pretty sure we've tested this before,
In your
yeah.
third session
Okay.
in the.
When did we test this?
She wasn't there, so she'll test it.
Yeah, Shimmy doesn't. But I think we tested different ways of bypassing the language barriers and stuff like that. Also, pretend languages didn't work. I think at least we concluded at that point, we might have been wrong, that we had to know the word's meaning for those that listen to know the meaning. That was the
Maybe.
conclusion we came to. But maybe that was a wrong conclusion. That we don't know.
Also, it does beg the question, what kind of magic was used on the scroll in order to make her be able to
Yeah.
read it?
You're gonna make me an intelligence enigmas. Difficulty 8. This is actually difficulty 9. It's a dead language.
Intelligence. I'm gonna take a guess that I have nothing in Enigmas. 9.
This is going to be a base luck roll.
Can I willpower this?
Sure.
Yes, is it... What happens if you remove all your willpower? Like, if you...
If you
Is that
fail,
bad?
that is not super good.
Yeah, not good at
Okay.
all. Not good at all.
So you might not want to willpower this.
That makes you will less.
Yeah. I would highly not suggest it.
Alright.
Nope. Start trying to read off things as best as you can, having no idea what the phonetics are of anything written. Well, there's a knoosh here and there, and nothing. You guys get nothing from it.
How about we bury the book with the sword? If we don't know what to do with it yet.
It makes sense. But
Wait.
then-
I have this... The scroll is still...
He doesn't know about the
Understandable for me.
scroll. That should
And you should see the words for it, so we should be able to figure out some of the words. It's gonna take a shit ton of time, but...
I see
Do
what
you
you're
think
going
maybe
for.
Bart would know that language? Or anybody else we know would know that language?
That bury it. I don't know.
I mean, you can ask him if he knows Babylonian, trying to find some shifter to it, to maybe, well, find someone who knows, and then we can reevaluate if we want to bring the text.
Just let's remember that it is known that this is in Babylonian, and if it just disappeared, and people keep starting to ask about Babylonian.
Yeah, of course. We have to, I mean,
You
ask
shouldn't be
Bartholomew.
asking about
basically.
anyone else involved about this.
Oh.
No offense, but I think that is the smartest thing Chimeg has ever said.
Just a moment.
Continue on, please.
Yeah. I guess we should dig it down here. We will know how good tracking magic he has anyways, to see if he can find it. If no one finds it in a long time, then he may not be able to track it.
Please, can we bury the book in a box or some kind of protection? Please.
Yes. Absolutely.
Alright. But then we have to get the sword first then.
I need
Yeah, you got
blood.
this gift as well from Alexis.
Yes, here you go.
What?
Ah. Chimeg, what you would see before you is a carefully wrapped bundle. Seems like a set of clothing. Is it a brown wrapping with like a thin piece of roping around it, and it has Chimeg on top of it.
And she'll open it up.
All right. What you would reveal is there's this long, beautiful silk dress of a Gok Turk style. It has sky blues and whites that sort of go through in intricate parts of it. And it comes with a necklace, a metal necklace, probably iron, that has a symbol of a horse with a man on the top of it shooting a bow.
This is actually rather beautiful. Why did we? Why?
I don't know. We got very different things.
I showed the necklace a bit awkwardly.
And the vials that you got, how small are they? Are they small enough that I can place one of them in my wooden container?
They would be roughly about that size, yeah. So it might take up a slight bit more space than the vials that are in the container, but roughly the same size.
Yeah, we have to decide what to do with the vials. I am not 100% sure I want to give them to Bartholomew, all of them. Might be good for us to have access to this. And if he takes them and travels, we will not be able to get them if we need them.
How many should you take? 1, 2?
Yeah, I would want to have one at least.
I would agree with that.
And as my mother knows, I would want to show her the sun at some point.
Well, we were supposed to have brunch with her. Was that today?
Was I supposed to be on that brunch? I don't remember. Maybe I was.
Everyone was
She
invited
invited
to
everyone.
brunch.
Yeah, everyone was like, yeah, okay.
Today.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, maybe not take it up there and then, but I can take it up with her at later time.
Yes. For every person we give this to means that there's one more person that might let it slip that there are people that can walk in the sun here.
I don't have to give it permanently to my mother. I just wanted to give her a look. She has not seen the sun in 30 years.
You should be really careful about this. Also,
That's
keep in
understandable.
mind, as you said, if Alexis has insects around watching us.
Yeah, you have to assume he doesn't do it all the time, because we cannot live in constant fear of insects. We can never protect us against it. That's why they're good scouts, I guess. But he has other things to do than follow us all the time.
Where's the food? I'm hungry.
There's a knock on the door. Perfectly timed.
Right. Subject change? Perhaps cover the hearts up a bit.
I'm gonna put away the things I found in the crypt.
There's this pleasant aroma that is like wafting through the door of, like I said, the couscous and the sausage and the shrimp and some sort of sauce. And there's like a heavy smell of also like a spiked tea of some sort. And all these flavor profiles sort of intermix and drift their way through the gaps in the door. You would hear another knock on the door, and this time Rafik would go, "Open the door! I know you're in there."
Such a disappointment, Jala says as he stands up and opens the door.
You open the door, you see Rafik is sort of like leaned up against the doorway frame as the door opens, and there's a guy in his early 20s. He has Sicilian Muslim descent, clean-shaven, long flowing hair that goes down to right about here, and also he's decently built, a little bit on the wiry but strong side. He is holding the tray of food, and Rafik just takes the tray from his hands and says, "I'll take that." And
Right,
Jala,
guys
you take that.
I'm gonna have some fun. And Jala sort of just walks out of the room and leads the guy with him to his other room. Not the armory one, the normal one.
Okay, we have to be clear because
There's no space in the armory one. So you'll have lost Jala for at least an hour now.
Jala is replaced with Rafik. As Rafik kind of closes the door behind him and goes, to each their own. So, what have I missed?
Someone's bought you make a dress.
Okay.
There's like this deadpan, low levels of anger look that glares over him for like a split second before he just calmly shifts that into a smile. That's wonderful. And who would be the lovely patron?
I'll tell you later when we can talk about cooking. But
Is this the anime
Fantastic.
scene where the screen like cracks for a second?
don't like. I think it's a gift for everyone. She make her look stunning in that dress.
You've now created a vampire hunter. I'm
No,
kidding.
no.
I'm kidding. Either way. Other than gifts, is there anything else?
Well, it's been a night and a day, but
Physically and mentally? Sure, yeah, absolutely.
I need to feed, honestly.
Okay.
Should I be... Are we all heading to get the sword, or am I getting the sword?
Well, I think you have the way of becoming a bird.
Yeah.
I guess
But
that's
she
how you
needs
get
to
in.
feed, so... Perhaps we take care of that before any attempts at birth.
Yes, it would be good. I need.
He will offer the
I'm pretty
couscous.
low.
Funnily enough, he does not. He offers it to everybody else. Like they're like little plates. They're just like appetizer plates with just a little bit of everything on it that he would offer everybody. And there would be a small little cup with some tea that happens to also have some spiced rum in it.
Forgotten Dreams. I have the container with Habiba's blood samples.
Correct.
Are there vials of the same size?
Those would be exactly the same set, perfectly so.
I think so. They are 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
I start to exchange them, then put them in my vial container, 5 of them.
Fantastic.
And then I will look over to Chime. Can you give me one of the other vials?
Oh,
And then
and she'll hand over the whole necklace.
Yeah, and is the necklace looking part of the whole thing, or is it looking like just a simple rope?
What it looks like is there's a clasping mechanism on the pendant of the necklace itself, where you can. It's very finicky, but with somebody with like a slightly longer nail than normal, they can flick up a small piece of metal to unlatch it and open it up, and then pull the vial out if necessary.
All right. Can the vial and its chain contain, if it goes like around the rim, the chain in the container?
It'd be a little clunky, but yeah.
Yeah, I will do that then. So everything is wrapped in, and then I close it.
Okay. Fantastic.
And I will have a blood container. And Alexis, no, I have these bloods. Maybe it was for him. And I took them. Who knows? And I have the empty vials in the other container.
Okay, so you'll essentially just be able to switcheroo.
Yeah.
But doesn't
Right,
anyone
well-
take any food from Rafiq's tray?
I do.
All right, fantastic. So, if any of you deign to eat it, it's fairly good. I'm not sure if your characters would have experienced couscous in the past. It's decent. It's not exactly what you were expecting, but you could possibly put it on like the same thread as like a mix between almost rice and corn is like the texture it gives off when you bite into it. And the shrimp is fresh. And there is like this very, not very, but like lightly sweet, a little sticky sauce that he has covering over it. That's a slight like orangish color, and you have a distinct feeling it might actually be like almost like candied duck fat that's been melted down, and just slightly drizzled over. So it's decent.
Thank you. Compliments to the chef.
Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. Chimek, would you like to feed from me or someone else?
I was thinking going out for hunting.
Okay.
It does tend to make you, well, less than for a bit.
I understand. Yeah.
I am going to go and test the combat capability of the humans I have in the brewery basement.
Would you
There's-
like to put them up against who we have in our cellar? I've begun their training for combat.
I don't want them to interact with anything except people like us and themselves for a while.
Understandable.
But I also have 10 of them that's going to act as servant, and they can probably use the feeding. I was planning to have them as a herd until they have served other uses. If you want to join me when I test them.
Are they available now?
Well, maybe not before. Well, when we start the testing, it could be available. I think that you maybe should go hunt and do this thing, and then you can use these to fill you up later. That is probably better. I have to go downstairs actually and wait, because I know that Gabriel was going to come as soon as sun set. He wanted to speak with me about something. Also, you know the one that crushed you a bit, Adjala?
Yeah, Nosferatu, yeah.
There's a knock on the
No,
door.
I'm not there anymore.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ajala is
yeah,
not
thank
there. Yeah. But there is a knock on the door. Around that time that you would have asked for Ajala, you sort of think about it, you errantly go to like open your mouth and say something, and then realize Ajala isn't there, and there's a knock on the door.
It's not me, is it?
No. Rafik kind of looks towards the door and motions that he'll get it. He slightly cracks it open, and he goes, Fatma. And the two of them whisper for a second before Rafik kind of just nods his head, closes the door, and says, you have a religious man downstairs.
Alright, speaking about it, well, let's talk after you're done. The task is done, then Chimeg, and we will get a good place to hide them. The things.
Yep, sounds good.
Alright.
So. Okay, I did intend to go to brunch with Sophie. Shall I tell her that the rest of you want to do that another day?
No, I was thinking of going to brunch. Well, when is brunch during the night? I was
So-
thinking.
Very early.
Brunch during the night is supposed to be very, very early.
Okay, I misunderstood that then, because the other thing was planned before. I would have told my mother that we could do it later if that was the case, but I didn't know that brunch was referred to.
What your mother will say in that case is that brunch will happen the moment you get back to the Painted Lady after you deal with your issue with Gabriel.
Alright. Okay. Well, I will come as soon as I can. But I need to speak with Gabriel. She says need. It almost feels like there's some underlying meaning more than it's a task on the list. It's like something deeper when she says it. And then she will start heading out.
Oh, I'll leave the needle. Right?
Yeah, make it look like it has sprung or something. I don't know how it looked, but it like hit the floor in a good way or something.
Right.
So it was never removed.
Right. I'll head
And
after
good luck
that.
and be careful, Chimay.
I'll try.
You did
Thank
great
you for the food,
with
Rafi.
getting everything done. It's impressive. We are ahead of schedule for once.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Right, and she will move out.
Okay. Celia leaves the room.
Where's Batu, by the way?
Oh,
Or
Batu
something
is eating. She has a. I gave her like a bowl, so I had a bowl made, and then I gave her a bowl of food. So first meal in new bowl. It's got her name in it. I don't look. I talked to the guy who did it. He said he carved in the name Batu in Turkish. I don't speak Turkish.
Alright.
Or read Turkish. So while I've heard it before, I've heard it several times. I haven't actually seen it written, so I wouldn't be able to tell you if it actually says Batu.
Alright. Well, thank you anyway.
Yeah. I just thought it was a nice idea. I'm thinking probably if she likes the bowl, we'll maybe like get the bottom of the bowl like covered in a thin layer of silver, and then maybe
That sounds good. Well, I have to head out. I'll talk to you later.
All right, sure. Anything I can do?
At the moment, no. Actually, you know the rice wine at...
Yeah.
I think you can get me a few of those.
How
See if
many
they
you
have any
need?
more of them. A few bottles? 3 to 5? I don't know. Actually, didn't know how much it cost.
Well, let's just say I may have 3 on me, just in case you might have asked.
Perfect.
Let me go get them out of my room. And he makes his way out of the royal suite to quickly go around the corner to his room, opens up the door. You hear a bit of shuffling, and he'll make his way back with like these bamboo shoot containers that are sealed, and he hands them over to you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And she will put them in her room and then head out.
Urfi kind of just watches as you head out. And he looks over to Cassandra and before. Do you need anything?
And before Rafi? Oh, I'm good, but I don't know if you've noticed, and she'll start describing Bert.
And the cat is gone.
No, I haven't noticed an individual like that before.
Usually kind of keeps an eye on this place from outside.
Okay.
Don't worry, it's not a problem. It's
Right.
Cecilia said it's a good thing that he watches over us. But I think it'd be good if you approached him, spoke to him. I think you'd make a pair of good friends.
Okay.
He
Yeah.
might help you with your wooing as well.
All right. Okay. All right. Sure. Where do I meet this guy?
She'll say it was one of the alleys outside the Pink Lady, right? Or probably say, yeah. She'll say that. But no, apart from that, all I want you to do is keep helping this person improve. And if you happen to hear any little nuggets of gossip or anything, let me know.
The sheriff's plaything, the Duchess of Kiva?
Which sheriff?
Jerusalem sheriff. She has the measles.
Okay, when I say our sheriff, I mean more than human or human?
No. Human sheriff.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I kind of only have that sort of a lot of the better than human conversations go on behind closed doors, whispers, things like that. That's a lot harder to catch, but I get plenty of mortal news.
Sure. Thank you. Well, either way, I'd like to hear.
Sure. Okay, I'm gonna let you do your thing. Sorry. Thanks for the advice. And he makes his way out of the door. And that, ladies and gentlemen, as it is 4:56 p.m., here's where we're going to call it. And we will come back with this next week with Sophie's Brunch. Right after we do our little one-on-one chat between myself and Cecilia. So prepare for that next time, ladies and gentlemen, on Children of the Cup.
Night, everyone.